Good evening, Speed Gaming 6. That's right, Speed Gaming 6 tonight. We got some links to the past Randomizer League action tonight. Invitational League. It's going to be Zaphikil of Crystal Roller Crew versus Jay Misher of the Tile Roomies. And this is Boss Hunt. I am Jesse Radical Sniper 99, joined tonight by Kazin with Furious Prince on the tracking. Hello.
Hello, Jesse. How's it going? You
Oh,
ready for
it's
another
going
one of
fine.
these?
I love these. So crazy.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. They're fun to calm. Terrifying to play.
Yes. So yeah, this is going to be their second game of the week between these two teams. Earlier this week, Armalix did get a win in this mode. So
Well, that's about as
good.
fast as you can ask for a Moon Pearl.
Yeah. Okay, then what is this mode we're playing tonight?
This is Boss Hunt. Got a dozen Triforce pieces hidden throughout the world, all on bosses, and two sitting both in the very bottom and very top of Ganon's tower. And you got to get 10 of them. Doesn't matter which 10, just pick 10, get them as fast as you can, and then you go and kill the pig.
Yeah, no need to kill off Agate 2 in this race. Just need to go and get those 10 Triforce pieces and then take down Ganon by whatever means necessary. We do get a few bombs there in the Lost Woods, so good start for Kakariko, although no money yet.
Well, with those bombs, we'll at least get 50, so we'll be halfway to what we need.
Yeah, and the early sword is another nice find. This is a good start for one of these races for sure. So yeah, we're looking for at least another 50 bucks. I would hope for another 100 just because of the fact that like you want to be able to get both bomb vendor as well as buy some bombs at this rate. We get the
Yeah.
book though there in Blind's Hut, so that's going to open up some access for desert. Probably don't want to go until you get glove and maybe a lamp. We also get the shovel in the back, so we might see a blind race game now for both of our runners. I like the blind race game if I have shovel at least.
Yeah, that's fair. I tend to still scout in open modes, but I think you can get away with doing that either way.
Yeah. But so far, no money. Just that 30 we pulled out of Blind's Hut. But there's the lamp, so there's some more. Like there's our fire.
So we got a sword and we got a lamp. This is starting to smell like what tends to be kind of what I've seen to be the deciding factor in if these are going to be fast seeds or not is potential AGA.
Yeah. But no real money to be had here. Just the 50 bucks that you talked about in Blind's Hut and the well. So realistically, I think we're spending our $50 just to get some extra bombs.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. Like I don't
Also, a very
think you
healthy
can.
start here.
Yeah, yeah, no, 6 hearts right out of the gate is nothing to sneeze at.
Now, you will see that the crystals and pendants are shuffled out into the world. The regular blue crystals serve no real purpose in this mode. The red crystals still will unlock Pyramid Fairy. The pendants also have their value of pedestal and or Saha turn in. If we talk to Saha or the bomb vendor, they will give us an idea of where those things are. Not the actual dungeons, but like where in the game they are. So he will tell you like, hey, it's in blind, or like he'll tell you it's near something. Did you see what was on Race Game?
It was just $20,
Okay.
but Misha using that shovel to dig up a pack of 4 bombs for free, so
Very
able to
nicely
save
done.
some money there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Zaf is going to go and purchase his 10-pack.
Yeah, you don't often see the shovel get used for anything other than the one check that's available.
I have to say, it's always interesting with this boss hunt mode. I've noticed when I do dig game that the 20s and anything you like, oh, there you go. There's our green pendant. Um, you dig up stuff, and the dig game item, and as well as the dig spot item, if it's a 20, it actually just looks like a regular 20 from an enemy kill.
I think does it have the shine? I thought
Yeah,
it
it
usually
does.
comes out with it does, okay.
It doesn't have that like plain finish on it that you're used to normally with dig game and
Yeah,
others. And you saw it there even with race game. Like it's
yeah.
very interesting with this mode. But Mishra heading immediately for Saha with that green pendant. Don't blame him. That's now a 4-item Saha's hut. I'm gonna assume Zaf might play the more conventional move of South Shore, but we'll see. Back of the Sahas though, just 20 arrows and a bug net. But no, Zaf is also heading for Sahashala. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of the play. I think you still make the play for South Shore, hoping for the bow before going this way, but easy
Yeah,
come, easy go.
it could you got to try and find ways to kind of force divergence in this mode sometimes to try and get an edge, and they both chose to do the same thing, so that just didn't happen.
Yeah, the only real divergence here early was, of course, that Lumberjack scout from Zaf. That's really the difference at this point, combined with the fact that Zaf bought the 10-pack. But yeah, we do have these scores updated so far for this season. Zaf and the Crystal Roller Crew are 2-1, getting a win last week, and of course a win earlier this a day or so ago in this week. So currently 2-1. Meanwhile, Roomies off to a bit of a rough start here early in the season at 0-3, but I do not see these guys being kept down for long. Now, we did do, as we said, we did get to see Mini Moldorm Cave. I think, we got a blue rang?
Yeah, and we all just saw that stun prize from that blue ring from Jay Meisher. It's a nice pack of 8 bombs.
Lots of money there in Mini Moldorm Cave, though. So Mishra up over 500 rupees could go for the fake flipper and do all those checks. Zaf going to fall short because of his purchase of the bombs. But Zaf is actually going to go back for Desert and the Dam, at least.
Yeah, this is interesting because I feel like one of them is bound to find something, even though
Yeah.
they're both kind of out of logic. But I think there's a good chance we could see something interesting come from at least one of these plays.
Well, and I think the curious part
Dam, I
here
wouldn't worry
is,
about too much because like Misha's going to get
yeah.
to the dam. That doesn't really get skipped. But the desert stuff versus the Zora area is going to be a little interesting.
Yeah, and I'll be curious to see how, you talked about the Aga play. It's going to be really interesting, the fact that we've got these tools, and do you put off Hyrule Castle because of what feels like Aga might be coming? But that's a hammer and Bombos out of the Zora Waterfall. Really nice finds there for Mishra.
That's nice finds. It's not the final nail in the coffin, but it's in a way it's looking like Mishra might have an opportunity here to skip Aga potentially.
Yeah, and all he'll
This
have to do is
may
really just pay
require it.
attention to logic. like the logical implications of that flipper locked hammer could be interesting. We'll see if Zora has anything. Just $20. And, you know, gonna just pick it up. There's no real, we can't scum that money after getting a hammer and a bombos. So Desert Ledge gives us just 10 arrows, and it looks like Mishra is heading for South Shore and will probably be just behind Zaf into desert area.
Yeah, I would
Because
imagine so.
if you're going this way, I don't see a world where you do not hit Dam, Agena, and Desert. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think he's
especially
going to rush.
with Aga looming, you're
Yeah.
wanting to get as many checks as possible. Even more so in Mishra's case, where all you need is that one glove, and you just saved potentially minutes. So I'll be very curious to see what we find here.
We are not boots locked to
Bulky,
start
we're
off.
just gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
Compass in the compass chest. Imagine. And our big key chest has a vanilla big key. Okay. So we are not boots locked in desert, but we still need a glove to beat this dungeon. Will we get a glove, a French vanilla glove here in desert? Or are we stuck having to go to Hyrule Castle? And even if we get the glove or and head to Hyrule Castle, it becomes a question of what is in Hyrule Castle. Are the flippers there? Map on the torch, is this seed looking at Aga, or is there a way around it? Logic will matter soon. But big chest is the mushroom. So no,
And we
we do
still
not have a
just
French vanilla glove.
we still just don't know.
Yep.
It's a French vanilla glove. It could be a French vanilla glove with extra steps. No real surprise here. Zaf is immediately following that mushroom, which I think you kind of have to do.
Yeah, I think at this point, Zaf has said, I am not going to check out Hyrule Castle without trying to exhaust most of my other options. In his opinion, I guess the desert dip is okay. I don't know. I don't see an eastern dip coming. Like, I
Yeah,
would probably
Eastern
rush Hyrule
is
Castle
a,
after this.
yeah, it's a bit more of an ask to go all the way to Eastern and go through that.
A little bit more money for Zaf, but still short of Zora money. I like picking it up at this point. You're looking at the possibility of, if I do Zora, I'm going to be just completely tapped for money. Zaf has Samaria out. He is going to go for the splash delete here. Very nicely done. Well executed splash deletion from Zaf. 2 bombs and exploding the Samaria block creates enough to cause the deletion, so perfectly done.
So I'm curious your opinion. Finding this hammer out of logic, does that change whether you want to go into Eastern or not?
I mean, I still don't want to go into Eastern, if I'm being
You don't,
honest.
but there's no thought that you might want to lean into the attempt at the Aga skip? Because
I guess the
really,
question is, how much can
unless
you...
if you're playing Aga, you're playing for pod, right? Because where are you
Yeah.
going to go afterwards?
I mean, we still can't even get into Aga.
That's true. We might be forced into. Well, I don't know. I guess you do escape first, because that could still easily just give us a glove and flippers. So
I was going to say, Zaf, what are we doing? I'm not sure what that was.
Trip into the wrong portal, I guess.
Well, if he was headed for Ice Rod Cave, I'm kind of curious, like, what that swimming was. But we're not going to get that hammer yet. Fortunately, Zaf prioritizing his, but it looks like he's going right back for it. So still lagging a little bit behind Jay Meisher on this one. Meisher skipping out on the Lumberjack Scout and a little bit of other stuff has worked out very nicely.
Yeah.
So just going to swap. We swapped over the MSUs to Meishers. Meisher going with the Messenger MSU while we had the Umineko one from Zaf. Zaf is going to pay off Zora. Unfortunately for both of them, like if this is an Aga Seed with Pod in the cards, neither's going to have the money for it.
Yeah, that's going to get a little rough.
Luckily, with the hammer and the $20 off of Zora, that should keep both of them over their money need for going south and doing maybe Arrow Game.
Yeah.
And we also did get a 50 there in the map chest of Hyrule Castle. So we've got Meisher going through Hyrule Castle. We'll see if the small key is in Dark Cross as Zaf goes and is going to follow in. Big moment in terms of the logic of the seed. Is there something here? That bottle is... Ooh.
Not what you really wanted to see right now.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, the two things we have available in CAC are Sick Kid and Bat, and both are out of logic.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, that bottle only comes into logic if the small key is in Dark Cross. Oh no! And Meisher taking a death on the ball and chain guard before getting that second hammer hit, setting up for the death warp. That's rough. Meisher is going to go for Dark Cross now, though. So we will find out momentarily if our bottle is in logic. And I'm guessing we're going to also get to see the Zelda cell over on Zaf's side. It is in logic. That is our Hyrule Castle small key in Dark Cross. So heading forward to get to the back of Escape. See if we can knock out or get out of this required Aga potentially. We're still short a cape or a glove to get into Aga or Dark World. Hammer was out of logic. Okay, back of Escape incoming. First up, 3 more bombs, the map, and blue mail. So nothing kind of giving us direction. For Meisher, though, that bottle does mean something. So Meisher is going to look like they're going to head forward towards Kakariko and the Sick Kid and the Magic Bat. Zaf also setting up for his Death Warp. Does leave himself at 2 hearts. A little safer. Does get $300. That's a nice find, if not totally required. So as long as Meisher doesn't go back for that, he's fine.
Where was this bottle at again?
Boom chest.
Boom chest, okay.
But the small key is in Dark Cross, so it's in Logic.
Gotcha, okay. I gotcha. So Zaf stole the key. I did step away for just a second, so just getting caught up here. I was like, how did Zaf miss that? I thought that was right on the route, but that makes sense.
Yeah, the one issue here is that Mishra is now at only 2 rupees. And is short for anything in Dark World.
Yeah.
Zaf picking up that Zelda Cell 300 could be a big deal, depending on what is required of this race. Magic Bat is Azen. Do you know how gross that is?
I blinked and missed it. What did we just get?
We got the flippers off of Magic Bat.
Oh boy.
You know what that means, right?
That means we got to get into Dark World.
That means flippers are myth locked
somewhere. Yeah.
So, yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, the only way to get Magic Bat without a hammer is to have mitts and a mirror. So those 3 items are currently locking our flippers and our hammer. So very interesting chain of events.
There's something
for this
interesting.
one.
There has to be something interesting sitting in Eastern at this point.
I mean, it's either going to be that both of our gloves, a flute, or Aga access are in something. Our progression is
something
in
good
Eastern.
Is sitting in there. I know Zaf tends to pay pretty close attention to logic too. This is going to make his head explode.
Yeah, just a tad.
Just be like, wait. What?
It's interesting because, like, you and I have practiced a bunch of this mode. We've kind of worked through it, and we've seen seeds where sub-hour is possible.
Yeah.
And then we've seen some of these that have just... I have to say, the races this week on Speed Gaming for Invitational League, I feel like have trended more towards this. Like, I feel like I've seen more of these jank little chains than I have seen the alternative.
Yeah, you either get these chains or you like leave CAC able to beat like six dungeons, whether crystal or pendants doesn't really matter, but yeah.
First check in Eastern is our big key. I don't see a world you bail unless you get the 3 items. Like, even if I get the glove giving me Dark World access, I am checking for everything. Like, you just need to know what this seed is kind of intending because of how nasty the logic is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, Mishra only at 20 rupees. There's our glove, so this... I don't know if I agree with this. I'll be honest.
That's a
given
tough
the logic.
call.
Like, if that's your logic, if the only one glove is in Eastern, I think you have to rush Mountain to find out what the seed wanted.
Yeah.
Like, you need to know, was this seed intending you to do Aga, or were their mitts going to be available? Like, those are the only 2 options right now.
Especially where mitts could literally just be the next chest.
Yeah.
Or a sword or a cape or something.
This is very much a gamble on Mishra's side, like staying out of logic, and I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, it's something that could pay off very, very big, or could come back to bite.
There's our second pendant in Hype Cave. But that's it. Like, mitts could very well be available right now, and that's what really is terrifying. Like, if mitts are here in Eastern, when does Mishra get back? there's that first glove for Zaf. He is going to continue on, at least for now.
Yeah, and knowing Zaf, like we've played with him enough that I think you'll agree here. Like Zaf is probably going to keep going and keep following this chain until he figures out what the logic is.
Yep. Like I think he'll be up Death Mountain after this. I would be shocked if he doesn't play for Death Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if this is Mitz still in this dungeon, he's fine. He'll go into Dark World. But if he doesn't find the logic for Dark World here, he will probably head up Death Mountain to see. Pyramid Ledge is just $20, and I don't blame Misha for picking it up.
Yeah, no, Misha needs money right now.
Yep. There's our second item out of Eastern Palace, just another 20. So we've got one other check left, and Misha is digging for, I'm guessing, money.
I was gonna say, I guess this would have to be for money at this point. I think you would just take your hammer, you go south to Arrow Game, right? Rather than...
Well, he already did Hype Cave.
Right. I feel like as long as you have to 20 rupees, that's the faster way to get your money up to where it needs to be.
Well, I think the problem is he thinking Vu at this moment now. And
yeah.
If you're playing for Vu, and it's not Eastern Palace, so no second glove in Eastern, but that still does leave us at...
Yeah, and looks like you're right. Zaf is taking this straight up to the mountain.
And I like the play. I think what you can... Like, what this tells him is, you know, if the mitts aren't here on Death Mountain, it tells you, okay, your mitts or your hook shot are gonna be in pod. Or like if we get AGA access here, it's telling you some kind of important Dark World access item is in the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah.
And even if it's not, he's still gonna, if he could get mitts up here or hookshot. So sticking to the logic a little bit to Zaf's advantage at this moment. And actually, yeah, Beer's right. There is one other option. Land Molus is in logic, and we know there's an item on Landmo. Good call.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting a ped read, and that's Cape. So there is AGA access. Yep. So now we know at least that the seed was intending probably an AGA play for Dark World. But what is on the pedestal? Just 3 bombs.
Oh, there's a bow.
And there's
another bow. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, game. Calm down.
If I'm Zaf, I'm gonna go beat Eastern and then go right into pod, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have some real interesting divergence between 2 runners in this game.
Yeah. And what we can say for sure is, at this point, we collectively can get, what, 4? No, 3. No, 4, sorry. We can get Eastern, Pod, Desert, and Thieves.
Yeah.
Between the knowledge we've got now.
Yep. And somewhere in those 4 dungeons, we're going to get access to more, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the mitts and the mirror have to show up sooner or later just because of the logic for hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, on the plus side for the seed, like, you can say, I can avoid ice.
Yeah.
Like, or it doesn't even matter, I guess, because ice is mitts locked anyway, so, like, you know, though, that you're not
getting there yet, but
you can't even get your mirror in ice kind of stuff. Like, there's nice logical breakdowns that you can come to here.
Yeah.
So Zaf is going to check the pyramid real quick. I can't imagine he's going to catfish. I think at this point he's probably playing for pod. As Mishra is working through thieves. Best case scenario for Mishra here is to find that mirror. I think that sends him up the mountain.
I almost feel like Zaf has a better chance of finding the mirror. Well, looks like we're not going to pod, but when whoever goes in there.
Yeah.
Like, with the hammer being behind the flippers of that whole chain there, like, I could see that being something that's just obscure enough for the game to be like, yeah, this is a good idea. Get a glove and a mirror and pod and be forced to go get your hammer by taking a long route over to the bat the slow way.
I will say I'm not a big fan of this catfish play for Zaf. Like, you have a clearable dungeon here. Like, go for it. Like, yeah. And I get the idea that he's kind of trying to piece together the logic a bit better with the catfish maybe being mitts. But, like, I think at this point, you know, you play for pod knowing that there's a good chance that the mitts or hookshot is there to give you more access to the seed instead of worrying about the fish.
I also do understand though, like, that's one of those kind of nasty checks that if you don't do it early like this, oftentimes it just ends up sitting there and you never do it.
Fair enough.
Then you can just get burned by it. So I get, like, it's one of those things where it's either you do it early or never at all.
But Mishra is going to be the first of our runners to get on the board, working through Thieves Town here, almost to blind. As Zaf is back into Eastern Palace to take down the Armos Knights and get the last item here in Eastern.
I have a feeling this seed is going to come together to give us access to 10 pieces very quickly.
I mean, let's look at this logically. Like, as we said, we've got easy 4. Given the fact that we should be finding a mirror, given its importance for the hammer, hair is on the table soon. Realistically, there's a good chance pod has a hook.
Yeah.
At this rate, so like Swamp Palace probably another. And then what? Fire? We're talking, you know, a fire rod could be enough to finish out this seed.
Yeah.
Like, we are definitely in a zone where I could see us not ever needing to think about Meyer TR because of the requirements for them.
Yeah, it's just something you don't even want to start seeing more accessibility for those, especially TR. Meyer's not as bad, but TR and Meyer really depends, like, where's the big key. It can either be a really fast dungeon or really slow.
Although there is a massive help for Mishra with the boots. But Mishra doesn't have money still. This is rough.
Mishra doesn't even have enough to play Arrow Game now.
Yeah.
Although with the shovel, like, you can force the issue. And there's our mirror.
Okay. Nice find. That's one piece we needed. And that's a massive benefit to Mishra because that will send him up the mountain.
We'll send him up the mountain. It'll get him silver arrows. Eventually send him right over to Pod and Eastern. Be able to combine those two.
And we are going to get a little bit of Arrow Game. Mishra did dig up the money and is playing for just to have some money for Pod and Dig. Or it looks like just Dig Game even.
Maybe just Dig Game, hoping to make sure to get enough just from doing Dig Game, because oftentimes this is a money positive game.
Yeah. already 20 bucks back. There's another 5. That'll be easy. Another 1. So we're up to 30. And hey, a 50. Yep. So there you go. We're fine. There's your pod money.
Yeah, and even if you don't get the money right there, it's not that bad to just run back and put back an arrow game if you needed to.
So the big question for this seed is, where are our Titans mitts?
Yeah.
Beer, what do you know, my friend?
Beer how?
Yeah, Beer, how'd you know? That is our other 5/6 crystal. Did we not see Mishra get a hook shot? I didn't see a hook shot. Like,
I don't think I saw.
I'm just checking his personal tracker because I'm like, what did I? This seems. Yeah, I don't see a hook shot on his own personal tracker either. This is a gamble and a half, folks.
Yeah.
Like, this play only matters if you have hookshot or mitts.
Yeah.
Because those are the only 2 ways you get into this dungeon. Logically right now. Like, this feels rough from my perspective, at least.
Yeah, I'll have to keep my eye and see what pops up here, because it's an interesting play. It's
but like
not a lot that can really show up here.
Like, I feel like Zaf is going to give us one of the 2 items here in pod.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Oh wait, I mean, it has to be here. Like, this is the only thing we have left logically.
Yeah.
So like hook or the mitts are in this dungeon right now, and that is, it really leaves me questioning some of this. Like, I feel like we've just jumped the logic a little too hard on this one, and like, if it pays out, great, but I have my doubts.
I'm all for jumping the logic. The problem is, like, these logic break checks are just so slow.
And yeah, Lynn is reminding that technically the logic still has Landmo. I keep forgetting Landmo. Sorry, Landmo.
Yeah, we just keep pretending that doesn't exist, but it is definitely still out there. Definitely still a option completely in logic.
Oh yeah, mitts can't be in swamp either. Like, we'd have to see maybe a French vanilla hook shot, and that's. Like, we know that the mitts aren't here on Helma either, but everything else in this dungeon is in logic.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't even call the bows comedy locations at this point, because here's my issue is when you pull that mirror like you do, I don't know if I agree with playing for this when you have so much on Death Mountain.
Yeah.
Like, and I think why it concerns me more is the fact that it's the logic that we're avoiding of pod. For, like, if you want to say, like, which out of logic play is better between swamp or the mountain, I think it's clear that the mountain out of logic is better than the swamp out of logic.
I mean, like, just playing to logic in this seed just feels like it's so much better because really we're looking for a hook shot, which makes, again, like, plays against this play.
And nothing in Swamp Palace. A couple of bottles, which, you know, nice safeties, but in terms of the next step, not anything huge. Mishra is going to go for the Bombos tablet, and I gotta assume this is going to be the Desert Clear.
Yeah. Like, is this just a case of being thorough to a fault?
And actually, we're not going to... Okay. My bad. We're not going to get to see Desert Palace. This is going to be the mountain, so this will help.
Yeah.
And there's the Titan.
And there's
our logic. Zap doesn't know it yet, but that is the logic required. So this was an Agaseed, folks, for sure. Go, you know, get that glove in Eastern, then go up the mountain to get your cape and potentially a bow. You know, you go beat Aga and get your Titan's Mitts out of the Palace of Darkness to get your mirror in Village of Outcasts, hammer or flippers at Magic Bat, and then finally hammer at Waterfall. Gross.
Yeah, just a little bit. I got to imagine Zap is going straight to Thieves Town at this point.
Yep. Village of Outcasts, go for that clearable crystal, and realistically, with that mitts and mirror, he could do a Smith Chain. Like, do Smith Chain down to Bombo's tablet and then clear Desert Palace. I think that's a fair play on his side.
That could be fair. Or do you just go to the mountain?
Either's fine, really. Like, if you don't want to play too thorough, I think I agree with you.
Like, if you're going to break logic, breaking GT logic at that point seems like a pretty fair play, and that's ignoring that there's also, you know, dozen plus items to check on the mountain before you even consider that. So do you want a bow or do you want a bow?
I want a bow. Or maybe two bows.
Yeah, I think you get them both.
Yeah, I did adjust the volume some, but thanks also to Beer for offering to help out. I was gonna say I have the same ability as Beer, so. But that is silvers for Mishra, so. But we're not gonna check Ether? Kays, what do you think about this East Death Mountain play? That was a rod. Was that ice?
That was ice, yeah. I mean, East Death Mountain seems right. I think you still check Ether.
I guess here's my thing is you got the bow.
Right.
And you've got the hammer, but at this point you know that your logic, like, I guess you could think that your logic is that hook shot's here on the mountain. Oh, no, wait. No, it can't. Or you could be thinking that hook shot's in pod, I guess, and that this is going to lead you to your mitts. Sorry, that's the thought here. But that's a second sword. Now, Zaf will get his boots before going into Thieves Town. That's always a feels-good moment. You want those boots for Thieves, always. And that's the hook shot. So, gonna be a bit of a surprise moment for Mishra if he was trying to pay attention to logic, as that tells him that the mitts are in the Palace of Darkness now.
Yeah. Or on Landmo, which we know they're not.
Or Landmo, yeah.
Landmo does exist.
No, it doesn't. I don't know what you're talking
It's a boss. Unless we missed something, we believe there's an item on it. And...
No, because we had a vanilla compass and a map on the torch.
Okay.
But let's see, our ether tablet, Zaf gets his mirror, so he knows he's in logic finally. As the Dead Rock says, you're not allowed to enter Hera.
Dead Rock's doing Dead Rock things.
Now, in terms of our Triforce count, of course, Zaf is up 2-1, entering his third dungeon as Mishra is into his second. On the plus side, Mishra getting to do Herapot here in Hera is really going to make this a quick dungeon. Very nice hook speed Herapot.
Always nice when that goes nice and quick.
And yeah, our tracker Furious Prince, right? We can do quite a bit there. Kazin, is that go mode?
It's no mode.
Yeah, it's no mode.
It's no mode for us.
Yeah, that's no mode, folks. I will say, I think Zaf is in better position right now. Going to be able to go up the mountain and get Indigo on that first trip with his mitts. Unfortunately, Boldorm taking revenge, getting that knockdown.
Yeah, the benefit here for Zaf is just like there's nowhere else really to go after this.
Yeah.
Beyond, like, yes, you could do the Smith chain. I don't, and I think that's part of why I was saying, like, I don't see that as being where he goes. I think Mountain has to be the play.
Yeah. Maybe you do a little bit here in this area, but I think you're bailing. Like, I think the Mountain is just your play.
Hammer pegs and bail is probably what I would do. Smith chain into desert.
That is possible. I mean, we're not getting the flute.
It is.
At this rate.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Mishra is doing Hera basement. Like, I think Mishra's lost track of the logic.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Mishra might have lost track of. This is one of those seeds where paying attention to your logic is just critical.
Yep. Because, like, he should know right now that his mitts have to be available.
It's been rough to follow the logic in this, watching it. I can only imagine while playing. Like, it's very easy to lose track of something, but yeah, we'll be curious to see where Zaf goes with this. I don't think Smith chain into desert is a bad play per se. It feels bad because we know where the answer is, but it is still, you know, something that you got to do. It's still going to give a Triforce piece, a couple extra checks. You never know what you're going to find on the way. So it's definitely not a bad play if that's where Zaf ends up going.
And speaking of extra checks, it looks like Mishra is going to go for Spike Cave now. So, like, unfortunately, these are little time losses that are going to start adding up between Hera Basement and Spike Cave. You know, this is minute or two just lost.
Yeah.
But that is piece number 3 for Zaf. Zaf appears... Okay, so he might be finishing out this chain, at least on some level. As Mishra heads towards Eastern and Pod, he's gonna go into the Dark World portal. He'll be in go mode with, not too long from now. He's close.
Yeah. Yeah, Zaf may have a crystal lead at the moment, but this is much closer than it looks and could still easily swing in Mishra's favor.
Okay, Zaf has skipped the Smith. This could just be 45 and Stumpy. But we'll find out.
How much of Mishra's route do you think was influenced early on by just all the money problems?
I mean, there's definitely pieces of it. I don't know if he would have considered Pod from Pyramid if he had the money. But it's worth considering. Zaf not heading... What are you going, Zaf? Oh, he's got Bombos. He's going to knock out Ice Palace.
This is a fair play.
Okay.
Can understand the thought behind this. It's pretty quick dungeon, pretty quick checks. You could find your fire rod here, and if you do, you can, skip a ton of the mountain. So yeah, this definitely makes a lot of sense. How much of ice do you do if you're in Zaf's situation here?
The problem is Zaf doesn't know that, if he was in Go, it's one thing, but I think he's going to be more inclined to full clear this dungeon.
Yeah. Pay attention to your small keys. Although with Samaria, you're doing right side anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much.
A little rough there on the Pen Gators. And Zaf is going back to hit the switch, so he might be thinking some skips in here. I could see Zaf starting to turn up the aggression on his plays, skipping Smith Chain, and not going strictly to Desert there. This could be him saying, I've got to start turning it up a little bit.
Finding some corners to cut.
Yep. And that's the thing, Mishra has a good go mode here on his side. His go mode is mitts.
Yeah. They're mitts that are just right along the path he's already on.
Yep. But Mishra about to tie up the crystal count, at least for a little bit. And it does look like Zaf is actually still going to full clear this Ice Palace, so no real corner cutting.
Yeah, I think it makes sense if your thought is you're looking for a fire rod here, you don't want to leave it here. Or a hook shot for that matter.
Now, Misha will have to go back into pod to get those mitts. I say that, and Misha is going back into Eastern. Fingers crossed, you know that we do go back in right after this.
I got to imagine he was like, this makes sense. Get the boss kills you need, get the last item you need when you can here. Misha's only seen, what, the first chest? Or the first two chests?
Yeah. He knows there's 2 items left in Eastern on his end.
So yeah, like doing this first, if your mitts are in here, this makes a lot of sense. I got to imagine he'll be right back into pod after.
I would too. I just know, like, you and I have talked about this, of like doing, when you do pod a little different, where, you drop in, you get to do Helma first before doing the back. Sometimes, like, you just kind of forget that it exists.
Just a little bit of a short circuit happening. Yeah.
Yep. Like, I think the worry is, and I've done it myself. Does Misha tunnel vision Swamp Palace? We've already seen that it seems Misha's a little bit off on his logic right now. And I could see him saying the answer's in Swamp. Or Skull. Like, we know it's not.
That Swamp Dip weighing on Misha's mind too.
Yep. Zaf playing a very safe cold stare here up at the top of the screen. If you're unaware, as long as you're along the top wall there, the ice crystals will not break into chunks. So able to really save himself some of the headache on this fight. Very well done for a fighter sword cold stare. And that's piece number 4 for Zaf, as Misha is entering his 4th fight for Armos. And I have to imagine this is Mountain now for Zaf.
Yeah, so
and yes,
Zaf
it is.
Through some combination of checks on this mountain, going to run into his go mode up here.
Yep.
I imagine pretty quickly.
I mean, I don't see a world he misses go mode here. Meanwhile, Misha, did enter Eastern again, but is going to go back into pod, so that's great. He is going to get his go mode as well. Real appreciative, of course, of those silvers. Zaf is going into Hera. Now, we know that the hook shot is over on East Death Mountain. But we'll see if Zaf maybe considers climbing Hera here because of how early the big key was.
I think the chance is there.
He is climbing.
It looks like he is. And this is reasonable. It is going to be a little bit of time loss for him, but it's like you're already here. Going back and forth doesn't feel good, but it's definitely something that can save a little bit of time.
But yeah, Misha has the mitts and is in go mode. Was able to recognize the go mode with the mitts and did not do the dark maze, I believe.
So Zap getting his fire rod. The one nice thing for Zap here is he is going to be saving a mountain climb.
Yeah, that is the one big benefit for Zaf, is he will be able to get his 2 GT pieces while he is on the mountain.
And depending the order he does things, like this could just be, what was it in Paradox or Spiral for the hook shot?
Everything was Paradox.
Yeah, so
sword
this could
and
just be
hook.
Paradox into just go get crystals, or Triforce pieces in this case.
Yeah, I mean, if Zaf's paying attention to his logic, I think he probably will get the hook shot before going into GT. Okay, we're skipping Hera Basement, but we are going to check Ether Tablet. Slim margin now for Zaf on the pieces, up 5-4 as Mishra is in the back of Swamp. We'll probably still open these checks looking for a Tempered Sword. I'm sure Zaf not happy to see that Ice Rod.
Yeah, not too happy to see that, but that should turn around here very quickly when he eventually runs into his hook shot.
Overall, I do not think there's much value in a TR play here. From Zaf's perspective, he is in go mode now, besides the sword.
Yeah.
Because he knows where the Ice Rod is. Like, this could be... Well, does Zaf hover?
Zaf does hover. It kind of depends on any given day how he's feeling. I think knowing that kind of the big benefit thing he can find right now is a hook shot, I don't imagine he's going to give it an attempt.
Well, that's the unfortunate side here, is that he is grabbing an Ice Rod, and, you know, does he clear Paradox before considering beating Turtle Rock?
I would hope so.
I mean, I would too. If he does Turtle Rock, this is not looking good.
Yeah, no, if he does Turtle Rock, he's in a world of hurt.
Although there is another sword. But I have to assume Mishra gets that sword.
That's a hard one to miss, yeah.
Yeah. Like, Mishra is going to go over to East Death Mountain, and he's not going to take the... Oh, and no. Zaf is heading into GT. This is really unfortunate.
This is unfortunate, yeah.
There's no other way to put it.
Like, I feel you have to have done Paradox first.
And I mean, J. Mishra is going to get that sword out of Super Bunny, as we said, and just go from there. Like, this is... It's interesting. Zaf is actually skipping out on the rest of the left side.
This could be just a quick smash and grab for right side in the basement Triforce piece. Wondering if
the fact that he got
up in here.
The fact that he got the big key has me concerned.
Yeah.
He could play for the climb now.
Well, no, I don't see a world where climbing in Zaf's position, like, makes sense.
Oh, I agree. I don't like it, but... And there's another sword on Landmo! All the swords were in the path pretty much for the rest of the seed. That's great for Mishra. Like, I think Mishra's in the lead. Like, I thought Zaf had this maybe a little bit with the logic, but given the fact
that... He had to get to that hook shot so quick for that to be the case. Like, if Zaf climbs here, he's I hate to say it, but I think he's toast.
I mean, I think he is, unfortunately. Like, I think this is
he
kind
may
of...
be if he does bail immediately after Ice Armos, maybe.
The problem is the one
But
of the
like
one of the pieces we know he's going to get is GT.
Yeah.
Like, I think the fact that the swords showed up, like, does not help either.
No. Like, I think now there's a good chance Mishra skips that other sword, but realistically, that just doesn't matter.
And yeah, Jay Mishra just missing logic for a little bit longer, like, avoiding the logic, has really paid out with a Mitz Go mode. And like, in some regards, Zaf was in a Mitz Go as well, but not as great when you get kind of baited into a Go mode scenario that isn't ideal in this seed.
Yeah.
Zaf has, like, there's no other way to put it. He got baited into TR by that Ice Rod and Bombos Medallion.
This climb is going to be real feels bad.
I mean, the cook could be in Mini Helma room.
Yeah.
From Zaf's perspective, I don't think it matters, but it, like, if he cared about the hook shot, it could be there. But I think the bigger issue, of course, is just the fact that he believes that he's in Go without it.
I feel like in this mode, if anytime your Go mode includes Turtle Rock, you gotta look for alternatives because it's just such a bad Go.
But good kill from Mishra on Cold Stare, and that's the thing is, you know, Telethar mentioned it earlier in chat, the amount of time lost from a Bombos Medallion versus Fire Rod is already pretty drastic. Combine that with the fact that...
sword on top of that.
Yeah. That this Ice Palace was going to be a lot easier for Jay Mishra, and it shows in that fight.
Yeah.
We are going to get a Skull Woods play now on Jay Mishra's side, so that will be piece number 8, and then just the 2 pieces in Ganon's Tower remaining on his end. Is there actually a reason to potentially kill Agatu here? I know we've had this discussion before.
For Zaf, there's a reason to not kill Agatu here.
Yeah.
For Jay Mishra, I've heard it's like with boots and a flute, it might be about the same. Without the flute, I think probably you kill Agatu for Mishra.
I'm waiting for somebody in chat to tell us we're wrong, but yeah, I'm kind of on your side here.
Yeah, I think without the flute, killing Agatu is, like, at worst, it's probably about the same, and it might... I see Telethar saying skeptical that it matters at all. Is that leaning towards that it's just faster in any situation. Faster, just save and quit to Link's house, go in via 4.
Okay. Okay, Zaf taking down Moldorm 2 as Mishra gets red mail off of Moth. And here we go. Here's the hover attempt from Zaf. First try hover, very nicely done. Yeah. Well done. That's great. He is out. But as we said, from his perspective, he's got Desert Skull and Turtle Rock as his last 3, and he's in go. So I think he's going straight to Turtle Rock. The hookshot's not happening. And unfortunately,
no,
it's really unfortunate, but a full play of Turtle Rock is a slow dungeon.
Yeah, that's going to be too much time, unfortunately. Like, even getting the hookshot at this point might still be too much time. Like, Mishra already has the one-piece lead. Like,
yeah.
You have the entirety of the TR base or GT basement, GT climb on Mishra's side for Zaf to make up the time. With TR being one of the dungeons, I don't see a world where that can happen.
I mean, honestly, I think if the hard part is for, I think, Arm to have had a shot at this late stage of this race would have been him having to clear Light Death Mountain before Hera. But, like, his play made sense. Like, I don't think there was anything wrong with the decision. It just has not worked out in his favor here. So...
Is Mishra just looking for a better go mode? Or is Mishra going to TR?
I don't know. What?
Pulling this ice rod like that. That says TR to me.
And like, oh.
So this is a call of TR over a GT climb.
Yeah, and this is
I don't know that I agree with this.
Oh, no, not at all. But I don't think this is enough for Zaf to come back. I think this is throwing away some time, though.
Yeah, this is definitely going to close the gap. I don't know that it's going to be enough.
I will say, like, to cross Dave's point in chat, like, I think if Mishra did the basement and didn't find the big key, like, you could say that there is a world where it's a lot of time to find the big key. But in general, I disagree still. Like, I think because you have to do the basement for one piece here, it's still worth it for you to do that first, if you're thinking TR is going to be a better option. And even then, I still disagree.
The more I'm looking at this, Jesse, the more I'm thinking this is closer than we think it is. Because on Zaf's side, we got, what? Desert and Moth?
I agree with you if we had Flute.
Yeah,
Without the flute in this case, I
it's a
think
lot of walking.
the runs to Skull and Desert are just too much. I think if we had the flute to get us to those 2 dungeons a little quicker, I think I could see your point. But without that flute, I don't see a world where Zaf can cover the ground fast enough. Not to mention the sword disadvantage he's coming to with TR. Like, he can have a good fight. Yeah. It's just these little moments that he's not going to be able to keep up. Even that... So, I don't know.
Yeah, like the silvers will definitely help mitigate. Like if it was Master Sword silverless, it's not non-starter. But it's still like this Trinex fight is going to be measurably slower than what's going to happen for Mishra.
Good job taking down the Firehead. Unfortunately, did not get the Ice Rod out before the explosion of it, so a little bit of a time loss there. But still pretty good. And he's got the Ice Head. Just there goes the Ice Head, so... But that's the thing, like, Mishra's going to be just about on the boss fight as Zaf is finishing this up, and Zaf still has to make a run to Skull and Desert. Best case for Zaf is go to Desert first, because we know the sword's there, but it could easily change his mind.
Yeah, well, from Zaf's perspective, like, I don't think there's... I could see him maybe doing Desert first, hoping for a sword to make Moth faster, which just happens to be the case, but I don't think there's much difference between the two. If you're expecting, you're probably not getting anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, this looks like this is going to be Moth first.
But that's going to be piece number 9 for Jay Mishra, as Zaf is almost, like, he's already to the Dark Skull Woods area, so, you know, gonna make up some time. But I will say, Mishra just needs to get a couple of keys. He doesn't even have to open a chest in GT. Like, he just needs the freebie keys in GT, and he can just go.
Yeah, you basically just take the NMG route here. Well, you don't know where the small keys are going to show up.
Well, you don't need them, is my point. The bumper, like the left side bumper key and the lower double switch room key is all you need.
Take the pot key and the...
Yeah. The 2 pot keys are all you need to get to Ice Armos and get that piece.
Yeah, and that'll take
this is, and unfortunately, this is time thrown away. Like, this is closing the gap slowly but surely. I don't know if it's still enough, but it's making things really interesting. And that's a great Hammer Moth from Zaf. Like, that's a very good kill. And unfortunately, Mishra's in DM room now. And now mirroring back for full right side? K, is Zaf potentially in the lead here?
There's been some... I don't know if we want to call it like unfortunate decisions or just not thinking like where is the fastest way to get through here, but I do feel like there's time being thrown back. The run through Desert is...
This is not quick.
Yeah, it's not fast. Like if you had that flute, that's where it's very quick.
I mean, here's the hard part, is that this right side play is it's really not fast. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to cost time.
Oh, and that's going to cost even more times. Now we got to reset the room. This race is getting closer and closer.
Yeah. And Zaf's in. And here's the hard part. Mishra's on no magic.
Yeah.
Does Mishra have a potion?
I don't.
And that's a death.
Think that's a huge death.
Oh no.
That is so unfortunate.
Yeah, if things were close, I think we can officially say Zaf is in the lead. I don't think there's any doubt this is Zaf's in the lead again.
Yeah, no, Zaf is going to be in the lead for sure.
Like, Zaf's going to get his Tempered Sword off of Landmolus, and we're at even on equipment.
Yeah, and then it's just a run to Ganon at that point, which is a run that they both have to do.
But Zaf is at the back of Desert and about to enter his fight for Piece 10 as Mishra's working his way through left side. He's got Teleport Room coming up, and that's not nothing. Like, they're both on silvers for bosses that benefit from silver arrows.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, Lanmo is just a boss that dies faster.
Yeah. And there we go.
Yep.
That's Piece 10 for
is...
Zathakil. And yeah, as Chad's pointing out, J. Mishra did have bottles with goo. And it's really unfortunate that, had it and hadn't used it. And it's like, this is rough. You feel like this stinks. But that is Piece 10 for Mishra as Zaf is making his run to the pyramid. So this is a Ganon fight now.
This is a Ganon fight. This is still very close.
Yeah. We've seen wilder things. Mishra is going to need to refill his magic.
We've seen equally wild things already in this race.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's got a blue potion. Like, I think at least we pulled at least one blue or a green potion in Swamp Palace. And we believe he quick swapped past one. So here we go. Zaf on Ganon. Good double spin. Gets the one... Oh, I missed the one cycle for phase 1, but a good spot for phase 2. Zaf gonna hug that wall. And he's out of phase 2. Meanwhile, Mishra also missing that one cycle phase 1. That is always a tough position. Probably one of my least favorite personally. But Zaf is finishing up phase 3 into phase 4. Just 4 silver arrows separating him from victory today. Meanwhile, Mishra into his own phase 3. But that is silver number 4 for Zaf. He's going to give himself some space from the gap. He does not want to worry about it. Get your GGs in chat for Zathakil. Finishing in first with an official race time of 1:24:39. take this game for the Crystal Roller Crew as Jay Meisher does get his 4th silver arrow into Ganon. And that is going to do it, folks. Get your GGs in chat for Jay Meisher as well as he finishes with an official race time of 1:25:03. We'll see if we can get our runners in for some interviews if they want to talk about this one. This was a wild race, folks. If you missed the beginning of it, logically this seed is a mess, and it just kind of fell into place very quickly. See Jay Meisher down in the waiting room. Don't know if Zaf is going to be joining us. Okay, I do see Zaf down there in the waiting room as well, so let them know that they can both just come up and join us. We'll get to talk about this one. But yeah, Kays, this was a wild one.
Yeah. Yeah, the logic alone on this one was worth a watch.
That or I just drag them up here.
Hopefully they'll be up here in just a minute.
I'm just going to move them.
Hello.
Hello, we're joined by Zafakil and Jay Meisher. GG's, guys.
GG's.
GG's.
So, I mean, the logic of this one is a mess. Wow.
Yeah.
It was a seed, all right.
It was a seed, yeah. We were just talking in the waiting room about like some of the logic and like where certain items were, so yeah.
Yeah, so definitely some very wildly different routes here. You both sniffed out that hammer, which was really huge in the grand scheme of things, and then we see you both pull flippers, and we realize the mess we're about to get into.
Yeah. I had literally just asked Jay Meisher in the waiting room if he had done desert before Eastern, because like I felt kind of wanting to kick myself for getting that sword at the hour and 20+ minute mark, but yeah.
I did go to desert before going to Eastern.
Okay. I had scouted one of your main tournament VODs, and like the exact same play kind of came up, and I was like, I wonder if he'll do this. And so I was kind of thorough in certain things, and then like I got the glove, I'm like, okay, this feels bad. And I have like on a little notepad in front of me, like, hammer behind flips behind Mitt's mirror, Mitt's pod, question mark, and then I was like, as soon as those items kind of got there, you just rush things, and yeah, it's like the first 40 minutes felt like a slog, and the last 45 felt the exact opposite, so yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the way this one went, I don't think your scouting would have meant very much, because I did some, let's call them non-standard plays.
Yeah. I'll, just to kind of give you guys a quick rundown of what happened is after you pull that glove is where things just crumbled in terms of who was doing what. You guys really followed a very similar route up through Eastern, And then at that point, you guys just diverged completely. Mishra, you went into Dark World and you just said logic doesn't matter in a sense. Zaf, you were like, I am going to try and figure out the logic of this seed. You went up the mountain and just stuck to that formula, and it had wildly different routes from there.
Yeah, dying to the ball and chain guard before getting that chest really put me in a position where I felt like I had to take some risks. I guess it nearly paid off. I mean, it didn't really, because I didn't get anything from Swamp. I did do Hookless Swamp before going to the mountain. Yeah, which I never do. I hate doing it. But I was like, you know what? I gotta try for a little bit of a high area here. Didn't work out. The only thing that ended up being nice for my route was having the mitts be my go mode.
Yep.
Because basically, once I kind of realized at a point, like, once I got mitts, I would have like 6 or 7 dungeons beatable.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I got that in pod, it was just kind of sprint to the finish. And then, you know, we don't need to talk about what happened in GT. Or maybe we do, I don't know.
I mean, we don't have to. No, we don't have to. We can absolutely.
I feel like it might have been pivotal to determine.
I like what I'll say is I don't want to, you know, talk about something that is definitely that has such weight on it. I think, you know, that's not fair to you guys at all.
It's okay. I was joking. Yeah,
I think sorry.
No, it's okay. I just I was in such a bad headspace that entire race, basically after Zelda Cell. And yeah, I was expecting him to finish basically any time past like 1 hour 15. I was like, he's probably done, because honestly, like pretty much everything was like on the route.
Yeah, there's a lot about the seed that you can blitz, and we were talking briefly. It's like I didn't realize the hope is in Paradox, because like the second so what I was talking about is like when I opened the TR portal, and like TR in this mode is absolute, like you don't want to do it unless you have to. And I saw the bombos there. I'm like, ugh, okay. What I'll do is I'll just do like, because at that point, like I'm effectively a sword for Go, because I admittedly can do the thing that Tark didn't ban. And I pulled the sword at Super Bunny, and like my heart just kind of skips a beat. I'm like, this is not really ideal. And I like that whole sequence plays out, and it's like it's kind of a very slow, like Go mode and everything else. And yeah, just realizing that, like, and it really kind of goes back to like the second that you're in, like you have mitts, it's like this boss hunt opens up dramatically. And Arm and I were kind of talking like in our like team chat, it's like sniffing the mitts is the biggest thing, because like that feels like generally the biggest difference. Like I might have been actually a bit later to like boots, because I was very slow to kind of get to Vu, because I was like, I wanted to just sniff out the mitts, because at that point, like then I can make the hopefully educated guess of like grab stuff on way and go. But yeah,
pretty much the rush to Vu on Jay Mishra's side did lead to the early boots.
Yeah.
But was a little later for the bows, but was able to pair Pod and Eastern together with a mirror, whereas Zaf, you did them separate. So
right.
Little things like that, like, kept this very interesting. And then, you know, with the mountain play, yeah, hookshot and a sword in Paradox Cave was very kind. The swords you each missed were on Death Mountain. Super Bunny for the one for Mishra missing, and Zaf Paradox. So, like,
yeah.
Okay, dude.
Yeah. What's funny is I really wanted to go to Pod right after getting to Dark World. I was just dirt poor. Realized it a little too late. I tried to do a little bit of digging. I was like, you know, if I get like a red rupee or 2 here by the pyramid, maybe I'll go for it. That would have been interesting, given that mitts were in there. I'm not sure whether that would have helped me or hurt me.
I think the fact that it would have caused you to double dip Pod would have been a pretty big negative. So
yeah.
I will say maybe the Zelda Cell Death, which was really bad, helped you, because that was a 300.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously it ends up being nothing, right? But
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like this seed for me was never punished until I was punished heavily for. It's inexplicable. I don't even know where my brain was because I literally had 3 blue potions. I had 3 blue potions. I could have just done it the normal way instead of trying to tank firebar hits. It's just, I threw in the race channel chat, like, I didn't deserve to win that. I really didn't feel like I played well, and yeah, it's like it hurt. It definitely hurts that if I had just kept my cool, I probably could have come away with this one. Like, but it is what it is.
I will say it's actually a delight to play you. Like you're like the Roomies in general, those teams that like I always like you Kappa and Wash are like this trio of like I would say generally enigmatic, like play don't like win seeds and like don't say anything. So it's just a delight to get to play you. So I had a good time and thank you for the race.
Oh, thank you guys. And yeah, no, it was fun. It obviously a little frustrating, but it's always fun to do these races. And thank you guys for the restream and putting this whole thing on.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for, stopping in the chat a little bit about this one, with how stressful that ending is. Like, I'm sure the viewers really enjoyed this one. You guys put on a great show tonight.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad it was competitive at least.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be at first.
Yeah, our tracker, Furious Prince, put out the little messages, so make sure to follow Zaf and Jay Misher. They did such a great job tonight. Really happy to have had them both here to talk about it. Furious Prince did a great job tracking with us, and Kaysden, it was a pleasure commenting with you for the second time this week.
Yeah, no, it's always fun. Watched a good race and feel like both of the races we calmed this week were good, so have to keep doing them apparently.
Yeah. In terms of the schedule for this week, I believe this closes out tonight for the league. There are races tomorrow, though. I already see on the schedule 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Obscure Lifeform versus Malxanthalos. Noble Foxes versus We are also here. That'll be on the ALTTPR League tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Then tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. we do have Dante of the Pugs versus Flipheel of Don't Forget to Track Us. That's going to be on SpeedGaming. Those are the only 2 Invitational League races on the docket for tomorrow. And in terms of the Open League, there are some races scheduled for tomorrow. There is actually one more race tonight, not scheduled for restream, between Dr. Earworm and Grey Corvid. That's underway, I believe. That is going on right now, but didn't get a restream, it looks like. But tomorrow at 2 p.m., we've got Quashing Uck versus Plasma Steak, as well as Tyler Salt versus a Rabid Wombat. That Tyler Salt versus Wombat matchup at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night does have a restream on ALTTPR League, so you can check that one out. And then I also see a couple of races later. We got Nochi Bato versus Rayzeus, Sean Rhapsody versus Bright Eyed, and Swagalicious versus Hexodus. So a good number of races across our 2 leagues tomorrow throughout the day, so do give those a watch. But thanks all for being here tonight, and have a great rest of your Wednesday.